Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers G.I. Joe crossover Megatron Hiss Tank. You can see both Megatron and the Baroness in front of the box, which we're going to put off to the side real quick because we're going to look at said box. And yes, it is a very nice box actually. You got the Transformers G.I. Joe stuff. You got Megatron there and Baroness in front of a Hiss Tank, which is Megatron. And I'm guessing this was at one point going to actually be a cutout, but they cut that for whatever reason because, yeah, that's showing off the Baroness in the packaging. Yeah, it's got that whole thing going on. You got Megatron Hiss Tank. On top here, you got, well, the two modes, G.I. Joe and Transformers. On the side, you got, well, Megatron in both modes. This, you got G.I. Joe Hiss Tank. You got, you know, the crossover logo down there and some copyrights and all that stuff. And on the back, you have, hey, look, product shots, you know, and warnings and all that stuff. And you can see definitely, oh yeah, the old school Hasbro logo. You can also see, yeah, there's a big old center divide here, and you can actually use that to split the box. Right down the middle. And you got this inner box, big old Hasbro logo there, and you got the G.I. Joe Transformers crossover, Megatron Hiss Tank, and same thing here. Nothing, well, that. Top secret, which is actually important. This would have been a big deal if, you know, they didn't already tell us some of the spoilers here. But surveillance has detected spy, scout, and Cobra base. Unauthorized vehicles identified as subject B is prepared to intercept. Their sting is sharp. We are poised to strike. The Bumblebee one, that's out and will be arriving my house pretty shortly. But yeah, inside the box you have nothing except cardboard, really. It's just empty cardboard. And inside that package, you had another package, which is, yeah, the old school G.I. Joe blister card with, you know, of Baroness, Cobra Enemy. You got Baroness right there. Yeah, you know, nice bit of artwork there. The old school Hasbro logo. And on the back, you have, you know, nice bit of artwork there and warnings. And, of course, I guess, bio card. Multiple 5 languages. Wow. You know, Cobra Intelligence Officer, Intelligence, Fixed Wing Pilot, Classified, Birthplace, graduated from student radicalism into international sabotage in the ranks of Cobra. That's pretty neat that they included that. And, of course, the transformation instructions, which, again, look very much kind of like an old school, somewhat like an old school transformation stuff. So, yeah. Megatron, who is massive here, and the Baroness, who is a 3.75-inch scale figure, 3.75-inch figure. Yeah, much like the old 80s ones. That's what I guess people call the O-ring figures. I'm not, so full disclosure right off the bat, I'm not super knowledgeable on G.I. Joe. I kind of know some stuff about it, but like, pretty much my knowledge of it is basic pop culture stuff. So, yeah. You can see there, Megatron, who... issues. Some issues. It's a weird thing. I think some of the things people are calling issues aren't really issues, but some things definitely are issues. So anyway, going to get close-ups real quick. I'm going to put Baroness off to the side here. Yeah, close-up stuff real quick. You see his face. You know, he's got a nice Megatron-y face. He got the red eyes. He's got the stern look. His chest looks well like Megatron's and stuff, including the belly buttons and. Then you kind of weird disconnects there. And then you got some black with some missile launcher shoulder hip things. And you got some gray down here with his feet. You got a bunch of, well, black bits hanging off him because those are Cobra tank bits or Hiss tank bits. And you can see the backpack, which this is not a problem in my opinion because, well, it has a whole function, which is there's the turret function, goes, you know, that whole thing. So this, I do not mind this backpack because of that. It actually has a purpose. So it's not like a thing when you got the shoulder pads more. The problem is, well, you can see, well, there's like hollowness down there, and then oh boy, there's just nothing in there. That's the chest panel right there. There is nothing back here. Even I tend to be a little more forgiving of hollowness, but this is pretty bad. You can see on the arms there. This is one of the worst I've ever seen. This is actually genuinely pretty bad. This is hollow. The thighs are hollow. Yeah, this is hollow. Thighs are hollow. The forearms are hollow. The whole torso is hollow. There's this Thomas stage port there though. Yeah, it's just so hollow, which I don't know, maybe they're afraid of weight, but like, because my understanding is that the G.I. Joe team designed this, not the Transformers team. But, you know, at least he stands well. Bit of weird scuffs or something on the chest there, mine. That's the thing. And also, yeah, even the fusion cannon is hollow. Yeah, there's also, of course, the Baroness. Yeah, again, unfortunately, mine also has an issue, which is one of the eyes. You can see that misapplied, so she doesn't look right, unfortunately. Everything else is fine, just that one, the right eye there is incorrectly placed, so unfortunately there. But yeah, it's pretty much just, nice molded detail, but mostly just black with a Kobo logo. Let's see, good little backpack came in there with the accessories, little backpack, and it's got all who made her on her butt. Yeah, so accessories wise at Megatron, there's the 2 cannons right there that you can plug in. This actually is a whole separate, comes separately. You just attach it on. It's just basically a clip onto a hinge. It's real easy. There's of course the fusion cannon, which attaches to its hand and not its arm. And then you got this thing, which I guess is a bit of a shield. You just go ahead and again, there's a peg and a peg hole. You just go ahead and if I can find it, there we go. Get that pegged on. And there you go. Now he's got a shield. Her accessory, she comes with the gun, which either hand can hold it no problem. Although it's kind of looks weird in my opinion, but I'm guessing that's what just Joes were like back in the day. So that looks kind of weird. But she also has this little stand, which little peg and peg holes on the feet, so that for just help her stand better. Although she doesn't need it, but does make it better. Make her better for standing. That's the thing. People have been kind of talking about the plastic quality, which honestly, it's different, but I don't think it's bad. This is, if I remember, I didn't have G.I. Joes growing up, but I had a friend who did. He did have a vehicle or two. And if I recall correctly, this is the kind of plastic the vehicles are typically made of. So it's not bad plastic, it's just different. So everyone's freaking out because, must be cheap, right? It has to be cheap because it's different. No, it's just different. It's the kind they use for the vehicles, but so it makes sense why the G.I. Joe team would use it here. But it's fine. I'm not seeing any real problems with it. It's the plastic itself is fine. Just simply the lack of it is a problem. So yeah, that's the thing. So from the front, it looks actually pretty nice. It's just, when you look at it from the back, everything starts. Ugh. Again, I've been pretty forgiving of this sort of thing, but this is pretty bad. Of course, yeah, like I said, the turret thing, you can have Baroness or any of your 3.75 inch, 3.75 inch Joes just back there on the turret. Turret can spin around, do a full 360, and these can go up and down independently. There's that. Yeah, so that's the thing. Posability, his head is actually... Posability is kind of a mixed bag on this guy. So, head, nice left and right. You have up and down. It's actually a decent amount of up and down, too, and you got to wiggle. So it's a good head. It's got a good ball-jointed head. Shoulders can do... That gets out of the way. Shoulders can do a full 360 right there. They can go... Whoop, that just got clipped because some of the stuff... Come on. There we go. Shoulders, these shoulder pads can get out of the way, so the shoulders can go pretty far outward. That's decent. Got the bicep swivel there. I'm going to move this real quick. Bicep swivel, elbows go 90 degrees, and there is no wrist swivel or any of that. Waist, there is nothing. Technically, there's a hinge there that would maybe be an ab crunch, except you can't really use that hinge with everything all transformed like this, so that's unfortunate. So there's no waist swivel either. That's all just fused together. The hip launchers things, they're on ball joints, so you can, flare them out as you need to, move them around, move them up and down, and all that stuff. The hips themselves, you got a couple clicks, about 3 clicks there, go forward like that. Go back that far before it starts banging into stuff. Outward, it's just, yeah, it's just friction. You got a thigh swivel, which will let you go further outward. So that's a thing. Knees, real stiff, and because the transformation can actually go pretty far, that's a pretty good bend just because of the transformation. And down here at the feet, there is no ankles or anything. You can move the toe down, and the heel can adjust if you need that. But yeah, it's articulation's kind of disappointing. I knew going in, but it's like, yeah, you can get some decent poses out of it still, but it's just not what I was hoping for, honestly. I feel this is a consequence of the G.I. Joe team because, yeah, her posability is, well, theoretically the head can swivel, but the hair makes that, well, really difficult. Remove this backpack, I might be able to get more. Yeah, the hair makes it impossible. The head can move a little tiny bit. You got these pinned shoulders, you got full 360, you got outward that far, you got a bicep swivel and elbow. You got the thing with the waist, you know, this was a big selling point, I think, for all back in the day, but yeah, the waist can swivel and rotate and stuff in part because there, yeah, you can see that. The O-ring. You got that. Hips are, which is attached down here too. The hips can go forward that far and not really back. Outward about that far. You got no thigh swivel whatsoever. And you got knee, which goes that far. And yeah, that's pretty much your lot. Not a whole lot of posability there, which I feel like that might be the reason why Megatron here doesn't have a whole lot of posability. Because, well, she doesn't. So yeah, a real quick Megatron quiz. Again, I don't have any other G.I. Joe stuff, so like that's not much I can do there. But Megatron, real quick comparison, just to give you an idea, because this guy's big. That's one thing he's got going for him. Here's a Siege Megatron. That's a Voyager from Siege, so you can see size difference there. You can see very different shades of gray too. About half the size comes up to his waist. And just again, give this idea. Here's MP Megatron. Just yeah, he's a bit taller than Masterpiece Megatron. So he's pretty much almost Masterpiece scale. Scale, not anything else. So yeah, it's an interesting robot that's got flaws. The biggest one just being how hollow he is. I don't mind the backpack just because it does have a purpose, but some people are going to be bothered by that. I mean, worst comes to worst, you can just leave this off, but then in the package, but then you have the big old hollow back to deal with. But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, if only, I don't know. This robot could have been a lot better if it just was a waist swivel or less hollowness. But anyway, transformation. Yeah, he can transform because he is a transformer. And yeah, so first thing, you want to take off all the accessories. So take off the shield if you don't already have to. Take off the fusion cannon. Take off these guns. They don't have to come off, but just easier to get them out of the way. Now, at the shoulders here, what you want to do, first thing, shoulders is, you want to take this bit right here. You want to move this forward that far so you can then rotate this down and then move this back like that. Same thing on this side. Rotate this forward like that. Swivel this down. And then bring this back like that. Like so. Now, back here you want to go ahead and untab this and just kind of bring that back a bit. So then you can untab the shoulders here. Swing this forward. Yeah, this will let you swing the chest forward. And bring that up and about. And you bring this forward like that. And then you go ahead and make sure these are straightened out down here. The heels right here, you want to go ahead and rotate the heels in for now. Leave the feet out. Now, right here, what you want to do with the legs, you want to move them forward and then bend the knee like this. There's a little tab right here, which will go into a slot right there. So just bring that up and like that. It's going to look like that. And same thing on this side. Bring that forward and bring that up and tab that into that slot right there. May come undone a couple times before you're done, but don't worry about that. There's this hinge right here. I want to use that to bring this back. Bring this stuff down. And we're going to rotate this stuff around like here. You want to rotate this down because you're going to do some stuff with that. So bring all that stuff down. Then right here, make sure again this is out of the way, and you want to bring these. There's a little hinge here. You want to bring these forward like this. Just bring the arms forward like that. Just get those out of the way. And back here, what you want to do is you want to line this up. There's tabs right here. Oop. Bring this down a bit. Now that's getting smaller. Yeah. There's tabs right here on the chest, which go into slots right there. You want to go ahead and tab those in like that. Bring this whole thing down such a way that these can tab in. There's tabs here which go into slots on the rest of the treads, and just tab those in like that. There you go. That's that part done. Now, what you want to do here is up the front here, you want to go ahead and bring these all the way forward like that. And then right here, you want to rotate these such a way that, yeah, the cockpit is facing like this. And then bring these up a bit so you can rotate the bicep like that. Bring this up and rotate at the bicep, and then bring these forward. And these pits will clip together, and they'll also clip in the back here as well. Yeah, make that all clip together, and then this will also clip together right here, like so. And then right here, the arms come down in these bits right here, and just kind of straighten them out a bit too when they come in. Just bring those down and in, and then go ahead and fold the feet up like that. Then bring this down over top. Gotta make sure you didn't. There we go. Yeah, you want to then give it a good squeeze, and then the arms line back up like that. So it's kind of makes this helps by straightening them out and then pushing it down like that helps make sure they get in the right position. Bring that down like that. And this part you want to go ahead and this hinge right here, you want to bring that up right here. Make sure that hinge that up. Bring this down. This right here, this little weird little what do I call it? Hook right here on this part right here. This will come down. There's a bit right here which will go underneath this panel. So this part's probably the trickiest part of the whole transformation, just getting this down and in position, because it likes to fight a bit, at least in my experience. Yeah, just get that nice and in like that, like so. Bring that. There we go. There we go. Yeah, get those all nice and squeeze together. And then we bring this down and close that up right there. They close the cockpit up. And then right here, you're going to rotate that front part around. And then finishing off, oh no, there's Megatron's face. The shield piece comes back here and tabs right here because he has parts forming. Tabs right there, go ahead and clip in there, right there, like that. And then right here, this pit, you would bring that up like that. And the final pieces, which is you bring the guns back and go ahead and peg those back in. Peg these back in. So, and then take the fusion cannon and peg it up here. And there you go. You got Megatron as a his tank. And yeah, it's pretty large actually. Again, it's scaled for 3 3/4 inch figures, but yeah, it's generally quite large as a whole. This is the reason why it's kind of on the spendier side, just sheer size. It is a big figure, and you can see, well, it's very much black. You got some riveted detail right there. You got 363, I think that's in 788. I'm pretty sure that's a big deal right there. You got a little symbol right there. I'm not sure what that means. GH7C, and that whole right there, the HISS tank stuff, like a serial number, more riveted details, some tread detail, the Cobra symbol there. It's pretty much all the same thing on this side, although mine has a little scuff right there. On the bottom you can see some Megatron stuff, but it's not too bad. The weight is weird because now that it's all kind of compressed together. I got this little tow hook thing and the Cobra symbol back here. But yeah, now it's all compressed together. The weight is actually pretty nice, I guess. It's not heavy, but it feels heavier than you think it would be, considering what the robot mode is like. I also got little tiny wheels down here, so it can roll. That's pretty nice. And yeah, again, because it's scale for 3.3 3/4 inch figures, so you could go on the turret again, as before. There are little pegs right here, so you can you can completely pop that off. And you can peg her back here on either one of those pegs, or of course you can move that out of the way. Yeah, the little thing right here, so you can get your thumb underneath and open that up, and then put her in there. Although, yeah, doesn't want to quite. Yeah, you can put her in there, driving the tank. Although this is one of those things. Now I need a separate Now I need a separate Cobra figure so it can, someone could shoot the tank with the tank. But yeah, it's actually pretty cool in this mode. Honestly, I've never had a Hiss tank. I've never been in a Cobra, but this is pretty cool actually. Almost to the point. Yeah, I'm actually genuinely considering buying a second G.I. Joe, like a generic Cobra soldier, just to put in there. Yeah. So and this is the one thing. Like you can see Megatron's chest right there. That's the one thing that kind of gives away that this is a robot. Also this maybe, but I'm not sure. I think this is I think maybe the other vehicles have something there. I'm not sure how this works. Again, I'm not don't know. I'm not sure there's something that can actually tow. I've seen pictures of the actual the normal Hiss tank, which is noticeably cheaper, but it's blue, but largely pretty much looks the same. So they did a really good job of this, and this is one of those things that kind of gives away the G.I. Joe team kind of designed this. They really prioritize this mode over the robot mode. So it's pretty neat as is. Because I don't have any, really don't have figures in this scale. I don't really have much to compare to. I'll just really quick grab the Siege Megatron in tank mode just to give you an idea just how much larger it is. So yeah, that's gives you an idea right there just how big it is. So the question is, of course, is this worth buying? Now here's the problem. The thing is $90 or so, about $80, $90. It's kind of spendy. It's big, yes, but it's also spendy because, well, it's kind of hollow and simplistic. It's got a fairly basic transformation, and I don't know. It's one of those weird things where it's I can kind of see where the money's going, but at the same time, it feels a little overpriced. I feel like if it was down $60-ish, it'd be a lot more easy to swallow. But at the same time, I believe these kind of figures for the G.I. Joes, the 3 3/4, sell for about $15 right now or so, $15, $20. Whether or not that's overpriced, but that seems to be the retail, so that's one factor. And then so it was okay, subtract that from the $80, and then you're left with what, $65, which still kind of spendy for a Megatron like this. Yes, he's big, but he's incredibly simplistic and hollow, so it's kind of hard to justify the price, really. I think if they came out with this, and it's one of those things, though, is because of this pricing of G.I. Joes, it might be a factor in that too. But it's kind of cool, but also lacking. It's really hard to really say definitively. I would say, honestly, though, this really just feels like it was made for G.I. Joe fans first and Transformers fans second. This very much feels like it was prioritizing G.I. Joe fans. And if you're not a G.I. Joe fan, you're probably going to have a hard time, justifying buying this. It's got a cool alt mode, but it's very G.I. Joe centric. The robot mode is kind of lacking. It kind of has some neat ideas, but really could have had a few things. But the thing is about that, the hollowness is also conducive for it compacting down, so you can actually have the turret, function. Because without that hollowness in the chest cavity, you can't make the turret function very well. The turret would have to be kind of re-engineered. That'd be kind of weird, kind of a spendy thing to do. And I can understand why they might want to do that. So it's got that going on too. Yeah, it very much, again, feels like G.I. Joe is the primary target here. So if you're a G.I. Joe guy, maybe, but you can just get a Hiss tank for cheaper, you know, a Hiss tank and a couple figures for cheaper than this guy. I'm not sure. I think the Hiss tank's what, $30? $20, $30? I'm not sure how it's expensive. I don't think it's that expensive. It's definitely cheaper than buying this. So unless you just really like G.I. Joe and want the Hiss tank to transform, then I can't really see any real justification of the price of the thing. I kind of like it, but I'll have to admit that, yeah, it's way more expensive than it feels like it should be. So again, the plastic quality itself is fine. That's not a problem. I think a lot of people are overblowing that because they're just not used to this kind of plastic on Transformers. But yeah, it's a neat idea, and it feels like it could have been better. Again, it's just the hollowness in some spots it's just inexcusable. Like on the fusion cannon, there's like, why? That should not be hollow. There's no reason for that. Some of it, you can see why they did it, but I don't know. I feel like this could have been better, but it is not. It's kind of a cool idea, and it is kind of fun to mess with it, but yeah, it's just... And there is something about the sheer size of it just kind of makes it kind of neat, but I can't recommend it at the current price. Maybe if you are a huge G.I. Joe fan and the price drops, then sure, but as a Transformers person, it's very much easy to skip it. If you like G.I. Joe as well, then yeah, it might wait for the price to drop. But if you're primarily into Transformers and G.I. Joe really isn't your thing, it's going to be really hard to justify it at all. So, yeah, I would say just only if you're a fan of both franchises and the price drops at some point. That's the only way I could say really justify owning it, as cool as it kind of is. So, yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you found this informative and entertaining. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and check out my Twitter at Nemesis Prime 1. As hopefully Twitter hasn't completely burned down by the time this video comes out. Check out my Coffee and my Patreon. I shall see you next time with another video review.